What's up everybody, it's Chris at Flyride. I'm wrapping up the taillight job, so this is video 3, and what I'm going to do right now is just throw all the bezels back inside. They've all been painted black, and we're going to throw some LED angel eyes in and seal these things back up. So here we go. So we're going to throw the bezel in, but I just want to make sure we get all the dust off it. I just polished up that lens. Hopefully we're good on that now. And make sure you get all the little burrs and stuff of the plastic off before you do this part, because it'll really mess up the paint job if you have any little specks on there whatsoever and it pushes into the paint. In this case, it's black paint on top of the original chrome, so every little bit shows through when you scratch it. It's also a good idea after you paint, give this stuff a solid day and a half to dry, get nice and hard before you bother going to scratch it. It just won't be hard enough to withstand any little scratches, and if it's too soft, it'll just eat right through the paint. Okay, so there we go. Let's check for those little imperfections. Just like I said, see that little speck right inside there? So really hard to make sure that you get all that stuff out ahead of time. Okay, so we got our black lens in, the bezel's all in place. There's nothing that we don't like about the little specks being stuck in there, so we're good to move forward. We're just going to throw all the individual pieces in here, and we're going to start with these crazy triangle pieces that we need to mount the small angel eye in. There we go. We're going to install these without the reflectors to keep the nice black finish showing. So let me move this aside. And what we want to do is just drill a small hole right at the bottom and right at the top so that we can run the wires out the bottom and a zip tie on top. So if you look at this part right here, that's the bottom where that screw goes. So that's where we're going to drill the hole, right about there, and then wrap the wires around underneath. Also, this is definitely a better step to do before you paint, just in case you screw up. Kind of paint over any mistakes you've made. In this case, I already did one, but not this one. We're going to mount the angel eye in this triangle piece, so if you have a drill, that's the only way you can do it. Go for that. Otherwise, if you got a Dremel, a bit like this that'll just kind of cut through and move around inside once you get it going, that's definitely better. So we got 3 wires that we got to run through there. We just want to make sure it's maybe 732s or something around that side. Alright, so before you go and install the angel eye, always a good thing to do is just test. Make sure all the LEDs are lighting up. So just hook it up to ground and power. Okay, all the ambers look good. All the reds look good. So just going to feed these wires through the bottom. And this ring fits perfect in here, so not too much trouble there. what you want to do right now is look at the top of it where it's going to be pushed inside the ring. You just push it in with your fingers and it'll stay pretty well on its own. But you hit a big bump in the road and your angel eye falls down, you're hating yourself. So let's just put a zip tie in. I'm going to go ahead and space it right in between these two LEDs up top. Make a little mark. And this one I'm just going to drill, because I really want that hole to be as little as possible, just so it doesn't look ugly. Make sure you get all the junk out of there. And on this one, how we're going to mount this zip tie, it's going to be off to the side so that you can't even see it. Alright, so we got our hole drilled. You could put that hole pretty much anywhere. You're going to hide the zip tie anyway. You just want it there for just that extra backup so that you know it's never going to just come undone on you. Alright, so I'm going to actually feed this thing through the middle and out the front. And then I'll put it through right here. That way the little square is hidden right behind the angel eye itself. You can't actually see it, but it does a perfect job holding it in place. Never got to worry about it again. Cool. Right, now I'm just going to cut the zip tie and be done with it. If you want to get a better set of snips so that you can get that thing really clean out, definitely do that. Alright, so we got our wiring. And just wrap this around right there. Okay, we're going to reinstall the diffuser for the light bulb. And if you look, there's two of them, different sizes. It's the shorter of the two, goes in this little section. It's kind of tricky to fish it back through, but just mess with it until you get to line up. Okay, so this part is all ready to install. Alright, just like the other pieces, make sure we get all the dust out. Alright. This one's really straightforward too. With the ring, it fits perfectly all the way recessed in the back. Just find that center hole for the diffuser. And we're going to make the hole right about here. Just a little bit up from the bottom. See, it looks straight. And drill the hole at the top. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to dust all that out, feed the wires through, and then we're going to check the LEDs at the top so we make sure we find a good gap to drill the hole to for the zip tie up top. Let's test these really quick before we get going with them. Okay, there's our amber. Look good. And red look good too. Okay, run those through the bottom. Check that out, it just fits perfectly in there. Alright, so we'll find our center right where that hole's at. And if you can see, the spacing of the LEDs is pretty much dead center right on the top here. So I'm just going to drill a little hole. And this one I'm going to do just slightly offset. And just a little tiny bit down from the top. Check the spacing. Alright, we're good on the spacing. So, dust it again. Zip tie up top. This one's kind of tricky where we mount the zip tie, how we do it. I want to go in from the back, loop around the top. So in from the back, it's going to go through the middle of the ring. You might need some needle nose pliers for this. It just makes the job a little bit easier since you're not trying to pinch it with your fingers. All the way through. So we're going to wrap it over and run it right off the same hole it came through. Alright, so we have the zip tie coming through from the back. And we're going to loop around the top of the ring and then go straight back out the way we came in. Okay, so see, there it is coming from that side. This is where the needle nose come in big time. That thing is wedged in there with that loop. Alright, so basically this angel eye is never ever coming out. If you want to be extra safe too, you could just throw another zip tie right on the bottom right there so that it can never feed back inside. Just a little insurance. Okay. So looking good. Let's test both of these guys again to make sure that we didn't screw anything up. Amber looks good. Red looks good. That guy. Red's good. So is amber. Okay. So let's one last time get any last little bit of residue out of this piece. Alright, we're going to throw in the diffuser. Really easy this time on that one. this is the cool part. If you took the head or the taillights apart the right way, you package these things up with the cling wrap, then the last time that they were exposed to the air was when they were in the headlight or in the taillight. Here we go. Just kind of unwrap it most of the way so you're not actually touching it with your fingers. Make sure all of the edges have the cling wrap removed, and we're going to slide it back into place. Boom, looking perfect. Alright, so that thing is just good to go. Alright, we're going to reinstall the small angel eye first. It helps if you kind of pry these apart. Pry them apart just a little bit so the thing can slide in there easier. And then the same thing up at the top. Okay, kind of sketchy stuff. Just make sure all the clips are popped back into place how they started off. So there's that guy. This little clear lens, same thing as the red lens. Should be looking perfect. Just try not, by all means, do not touch these things, because any little smudge you push on them, they're really soft plastic. They'll just scratch like crazy. So you can't really clean them. And don't try to tint these things either. I mean, you can, but good luck. I'm just going to shoot it with some air just to be safe. And you got to kind of slip it underneath this little tab that holds on the piece that goes behind it. Right. There's that. Piece. Okay, throw some screws in these guys. One right up this top corner. This guy, it's got little tabs that you just follow when you slide it in place. I'm sure that's good to go. Last piece, corner bulb holder. so let's take a look at our work. Alright, it's looking nice. This is about the last chance you get to make sure that there's nothing in there that you don't want to see in there. Make sure they're nice and clear. Try never to touch the inside of this lens. Hopefully you kept it clean. Alright, okay, we're going to do some wiring. First things first is just bring the two grounds together. Hooking them up just to the test light, just so we can find both our ambers and both our reds. So first let's find this one. So there's our amber, there's our red. Amber and red. So put my two reds together. Good. And I'll leave the ambers apart just so I know which ones are which for now. So what I'm going to do now is add a wire that sticks out of the actual tail light so that we can hook it up to the actual stock wiring harness, since these are kind of short. If you want to be fancy, you can use heat shrink tube, but in this case for me, I'm just going to solder and then use electric tape. Solder these little spots real quick. I gotta go crazy with the solder at all, just make sure both wires are definitely coated and caught up in it. Don't do this. Tie those together. Actually, I'll wait to tighten that zip tie now that I got my amber. Alright, we're going to slide the back of this thing back on it. Make sure everything's out. If you look inside right here, here's the inside of the housing. We're going to want to slide the wires right through this section right here. It's a little rectangle. It's where the connector actually plugs in, and there's space that never gets blocked by it, so easy way to do it. Feed those through. There's a little section over here that if you push it all the way over, you gotta kind of slide it in. Kind of hooks in place. So right now you want to make sure that everything's lining up how it was originally without any big gaps. If there's any big gaps, something's not right. In my case, right now, something's not right. That sounded sketchy. That looks good. So we got the wires out the back of this unit. If you look inside, there's a little part right here where this section has to slide into place. This guy right here slips into that little area. All the gaps should be really small at this point if you push it together the right way. That looks good. So we're going to take our screws and start putting this guy back together. If you can't see the bezel right underneath this red plastic right there, then it's not lined up right, because it should be pressing right up against it. And everything looks good. Lots of dust over here. That looks super nice. You might notice that there's little pieces of plastic that can find their way in there, and they totally respond to static, so you can usually get them out just by waving your hand around, and static electricity in your hand will make it move. Okay, we're going to add the wiring harness back in, but before we do, we're going to tap into a couple wires, and I'll tell you which one's which. This gray wire right here is the parking light wire, or I'm sorry, it's the turn signal wire. So that's what we want our amber to hook up to. And pink wire is running lights, so that's what our red LEDs are going to get powered up from. And the last one's ground. That's a black wire like typically. Cool. Alright, so now that those are tapped, just run these under there. Okay, so we got our wires running through here, and we're going to hook up our switchback module. So here's the module. It's just a relay, capacitor, diode, and 4 wires. So what we're going to do is hook up the ground wire so that the ground wire from the angel eyes will share the same plug with the harness. Our red wire coming from the relay is going to go to our red wire from the angel eyes. So right here. Is our wire that we're going to tap into the turn signal with, and the wire that we're actually going to plug directly into the running lights. The blue one, this is actually where we're getting our 12 volts from. And this is again the running light wire, so I'm going to plug it in. Where are we at? So we're going to have it in the back. Pink wire. In, and our black wire to ground. Make sure that little spade is right in the center. Okay. And last but not least, we have our amber. So we're going to pair the wire from the amber with this white wire coming from the switchback module. And we're going to cap them with the big guy. Plug it in. This is again the gray wire. Alright, so we got everything plugged in. Throw a zip tie in here just to clean this all up. Okay, I'm going to tuck this relay right back in here. Okay, make sure everything looks good. Alright, so let's make sure this gasket's all pushed back down into place. So everything looks right. Take the front. We'll wipe it off, make sure everything's looking perfect. Cool, okay, well now what we have to do is put the silicone on, and then we'll Mount the black bracket back on top. Here's what we're going to reseal with. It's 100% silicone. You can get it any Home Depot, Lowe's, anything like that. So we're just going to run a bead all the way around it, and then we'll smooth it out with our finger. The better you make your cut, the easier this part goes right here. Don't try to necessarily push the silicone into it, just make sure it grabs both sides. Silicone's down. Just gonna clean it up. Definitely suggest you get a bunch of paper towels or something for this part. You're constantly wiping your finger off. good. Just try to make sure that you find any little cracks. Do your best to get some silicone to cover the area. You're probably removing more than half the silicone that you just put back on, so you should have plenty enough to get to all the tricky little places. Okay, so now we've got this thing all sealed. So we need to reinstall the top while it's wet. Which one of these we got? Wrong side. When you install this thing again, make sure you push it all the way up. You don't want to be able to see any gaps. See? No gaps. Final product. Alright, so let's check out how the edge looks on everything. Can't even really hardly see it underneath the black, but so we're not looking too tore up, you know? Bottom side's pretty easy because it's just that one line all the way at the very edge. Okay, and then this, just so you can see kind of close up, this makes that 90-degree turn, and then it goes down this side. Okay, so here's our set all done. I'm going to just show you a little bit of the demo. There's with the red, if you want to see what the brake lights look like coming on. And the switchback.